Hey friends, today I'm going to share the number one food type that you absolutely need to be eating if you want to thrive, lose weight, reverse chronic disease, or just feel amazing on your vegan or plant-based journey. My name is James. I'm a plant-based nutritionist, and I'm here to help you to win at weight loss and improve your overall health. Now, if I had to make you guess what food type I'm talking about, that's head and shoulders above the rest, most people might guess fruits and veggies. And yes, they're super important, no doubt about it. But here's the thing. To get enough calories from fruits and vegetables alone, you'd have to eat so much food. I mean, you've probably seen these raw foodists munching on 10 bananas at a time or eating these massive bowls of salad that it's kind of like a full-time job just chewing this food. So while fruits and veggies are essential, they're not the most practical choice for staying full, and staying full is going to be key for you. Because when you're full and satisfied, you're not reaching for the potato chips or the candy bars or anything like that. But when you're hungry, that's when your willpower gets tested, and usually we lose. So let's talk about the food type that keeps you full, helps you to lose the weight at the same time, reverses chronic disease, and has been the backbone of thriving civilizations for centuries. Ready for it? Drum roll, please. Starches. Starches. So what are starches? Well, starches are also known as complex carbs. And they're naturally grown foods like potatoes, rice, oats, corn, beans, and sweet potatoes. They're high in fiber and water, which makes them incredibly filling. Now let's break it down. Fiber is what keeps you full for hours. And water dilutes calories, meaning you can eat more of it without gaining a lot of calories. For example, 1 cup of dried oats has about 307 calories, but when you cook it with water, it's only 157 calories. And that's because water is 0 calories. Since water is 0 calories, when you combine water with the dry starches when you cook it, it naturally dilutes the amount of calories in it and it pulls it closer back to 0. So things like oats and rice and quinoa and even whole grain pastas are transformed into lower calorie foods just by cooking them with water and the water being soaked up into the food. And then we've got foods like potatoes and sweet potatoes and corn, cassava, yuca. They're naturally about 80% water. So this combo of fiber and water creates bulk in your stomach, which makes you feel full. And when you're full, you're not likely to jump off of your diet and eat some things you don't need to. Now, 92% of Americans don't get the recommended grams of fiber per day. You're supposed to have about 30 or so. But you see the trickle-down effect of not having that. So not enough fiber means you're feeling hungry faster, you're snacking, there's more gastro issues, more obesity, so on and so forth. Now, I gotta give a big shout out to the king of starches, which is the potato. Potatoes are the highest scoring food on the satiety index, which surveys all foods we commonly eat. So literally, it's the most satisfying and filling food on the planet. So they're the food that keeps you the fullest the longest. Plus, they're the most versatile food too. Mashed potatoes, wedges, hash browns, baked potatoes, fries, you name it. Personally, I love potatoes. I've never met a potato I didn't like. I got a bunch of potatoes in the pantry right now. So another thing that I want to share about starch is there's so much historical evidence of the power of starch. So starches aren't just satisfying. They've been the foundation of civilizations for centuries. And when something has favorable results over and over again, we should definitely take note. In Central and South America, the Incas and the Mayans relied on potatoes and quinoa and corn. In the Middle East, known as the breadbasket of the world, grains like wheat and barley were staples. And if you go back and you look at indigenous African cultures, they thrived on legumes and yams and sorghum. In the Caribbean, plantains, cassava, yuca, these were essentials. These were the baseline. And in Asia and India, rice, of course, has been central to the diets for thousands of years. In fact, in the US, right, we say good morning, right, to people when they woke up. But in a lot of Asian cultures, they say, have you had your rice yet? It's the common way to say good morning. That's how deeply starches are embedded in their life. Also, recently there's some evidence that the ancient Roman gladiators were called the hordearii, which translates to the barley men, because they ate a diet primarily on the starch barley, which helped them to be fit and trim and be able to live to fight another day. Literally, they needed the endurance and energy, and they got that from starches. They were fighting for their lives, and they didn't want to die, so they had to have a diet that helped them out, which is similar to the Aztecs, who ate mostly potatoes. But when they went to war, since potatoes were too heavy, they took quinoa with them to give them energy and sustenance for battle. So speaking of death, the average person in the Western world eating a standard American diet lives between 70 and 80. And the last good chunk of their lives, like, the quality of life isn't good. You know, you're taking medications, you're in and out of the hospital. But if you look at the blue zones, which are rare regions in the world where people consistently live past 100 with vitality and mobility, starches make up around 70% of their diets. So whether that's sweet potatoes or rice in Okinawa, Japan, or beans in Costa Rica, starches are a major part of their secret to longevity. In fact, my wife and I went to Costa Rica, had a great trip, and enjoyed their traditional rice and beans for breakfast every single morning. It was delicious. So if we take notes from the past, we can clearly see what makes the most sense to have on our plates as a non-negotiable: starches. And another thing that I wanted to mention about starches that was so great is affordability. Let's talk about something that's on everyone's mind these days: grocery costs. If you've been to the store recently, you know how much prices have gone up, and it can feel overwhelming trying to eat healthy without blowing your budget. But there is good news. The best foods for your health, starches, are some of the most affordable foods on the planet. Seriously, you can fill your cart with starches and feed yourself for just a few dollars per day. A 10 to 20 pound bag of potatoes costs just a few bucks at Costco. It can last for a couple weeks, and it typically is about $12 or $13. You can buy oats in bulk, paying just a few cents per serving for a filling, hearty breakfast. And rice, especially when bought in larger bags, i.e. Costco, is one of the most economical staples on the planet. You can grab a 20-pound bag of rice, and it can last a single person for weeks. Beans and lentils, whether dried or canned, are protein-packed, filling, and they cost just pennies per serving. And let's not forget about the other affordable options like sweet potatoes and corn and whole grain pasta. You can mix and match these ingredients with veggies, spices, simple sauces to create delicious and satisfying meals. Now, when you focus on starch-based meals, you're looking at $1 to $2 per plate, which is massive in contrast to eating out or grabbing fast casual food that costs between $12 to $15 per meal. And the best part, not only are you saving money, but you're also investing in your health. Think about it. Eating more starches can help you to lose weight, prevent chronic disease, and boost your energy. That's money saved on doctor's visits, medication, and all the stress that comes with poor health. And in these tough economic times, starches are your ally. Not just for their nutritional value, but for their ability to stretch your dollar while keeping you full and satisfied. Now, I know some people are like, I've heard so many mixed reviews about starches. I know you might be thinking, I hear you, this is making sense, but I've just heard so many bad things about starches. Like, are you sure they don't make you gain weight? Are you sure you're not missing something? Well, let me bust that myth right now. It's not the potatoes or the rice or the pasta that's the problem. It's the oil and the butter and the cheese and the sour cream that we pile on top, which is the majority fat. When you eat starches in their whole unprocessed forms, they're some of the most nutrient-dense and satisfying and health-promoting foods out there. Let me share with you a quick story. Don't even take my word for it. Chris Voigt, the director of the Washington State Potato Commission, got fed up with the bad reputation that potatoes were getting. So he decided to eat nothing but 20 potatoes a day for 2 months straight. Here's what happened. He lost 21 pounds while still eating 2,200 calories a day. His cholesterol dropped 67 points. His blood sugar improved. And all his other blood markers like iron and calcium and protein stayed the same or got better. Y'all, starches are a powerhouse, specifically potatoes. They're such a powerhouse. Now, this is the total opposite of what so many people think who tend to go on low carb diets. So here's the takeaway. Build your meals around starches and you'll be amazed at how full, how satisfied, and how healthy you feel. From potatoes to rice to oats, these foods are your secret weapon for weight loss, reversing chronic illness, and feeling incredible. Now, if you found this video helpful, please give it a thumbs up, share it with a friend, and don't forget to subscribe for more tips on thriving and losing weight on a plant-based diet. Now, let me know in the comments, what's your favorite starch and how do you like to prepare it? Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.